Aaron Rodgers had a few unusual things happen last week. He only competed passes to 3 different players. That was the fewest of his career, and he just never had the ball. Their time of possession last week was the fewest for Aaron Rodgers in any of his 225 career NFL starts. And Alex, you've known him going all the way back to the beginning of that, obviously, when you were both drafted. Would you describe yourself as concerned after what we saw in week 1?
No, not concerned at all. I mean, listen, I thought he got through the game healthy. I thought that was the most important part. Listen, this guy hadn't played football in like 22 months, right? I mean, there was bound to be some rust, obviously throwing an Achilles injury in the middle of it. I think this is something he needed to do. I also thought they had the tallest task of week 1. I mean, listen, flying across the country, Monday Night Football, going against the NFC champs. I mean, we just put the stat up. He watched most of this game. I mean, the Niners team is a juggernaut, especially on offense. They can control the ball, and they took that game over. I thought this was an important step for Aaron.
Yes, to complete his comeback, basically.
Yes.
I mean, there are a lot of mental hurdles you have to overcome. I mean, in this one also, I mean, he's going back home. He doesn't know how he has to be sacked for the first time. He has to be hit for the first time. There's so many firsts you want to do when you're completing your comeback that, I mean, and he's looking at a defense on the other side of the ball, which is unforgiving in terms of the San Francisco 49ers. So this is a good Jets team. I don't know how good they can be in terms of how long it takes them to develop the type of chemistry we're looking for with those receivers, Moss. But in terms of Aaron Rodgers, the click still has to happen. The click where he says to himself, basically, screw it. All right, I'm back, I'm me, and I let it go.
Yeah, on that last play you showed right there, he was a little hesitant to throw the ball, and it got tipped, and it was an interception. I think for me, everybody's going to sit here and look like, Randy, you're sitting here crazy. As a Jet fan, I know, Greeny, you're going to sit here and say I'm crazy, but I really think that Aaron Rodgers, the performance I saw last Monday night, he needed a pitch count for preseason to get him acclimated to the game. Alex, you just sit here and said that this man has been out of the game for 22 months. Am I asking Aaron Rodgers, Greeny, to play 20 to 30 snaps in the preseason? No, but to get him adjusted to the speed of the game. You cannot be off for that long period of time and then come against this San Francisco 49ers team led by Warner and this defense to go after Aaron Rodgers. So I really think that the Jets will have a big season. But what I saw last week, yes, it will pick up, but Aaron Rodgers needed to play a little bit of preseason to bring him up to speed, Rex.
Thank you, Randy Moss. That's all I've been saying about even before, it was going to be a difficult game. They're playing the Niners. I threw out a stat last week. Yep. Nobody wanted to listen to me, did you, Green? You listened, but I warned you. Because Aaron Rodgers previously had got smoked like sausage against the Saints, the Vikings, and the Niners. Those are all openers. By the way, he won at least one MVP that year, so I'm not overly concerned. No, this has been a recent history. Why? He's not ready to play. If you don't practice against live contact stuff like that, you're not ready. Yep. Look, the Chiefs, what do they do? They play him off.
Yeah, and add on top of that, everything he's going up there, Rex. Yeah.
And you guys know all about that stuff coming back from the injuries and all that. That's got to be a huge hurdle. But he hasn't played. He does not play well in openers.
I think this may sound crazy, but this may be the best thing for the Jets. That on their opener, there's just so much noise around them, right? We constantly love to talk about him and Aaron. They kind of get humbled a little bit on the road, and I think it just kind of quiets things down for them again.
They better not get humbled this week.
Expectations lower.
You don't play the San Francisco 49ers every week.
Yes,
right.
Okay?
Exactly.
We're coming into a Tennessee Titan team that, Will Levis looked the way he did. We all know the way he looked. He looked last week in terms of, not taking care of the football, sporadic at times. This is where you look at them defensively if the New York Jets are like, all right, let's get on track here. Yep. We think our quarterback's going to be fine. Let's get ourselves right.
If you think it's going to get quieter after this week, just let them lose today. Let's see how quiet it is in New York if the Jets lose this game to the Titans with a Thursday night game against New England. Wait.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, these two games should be get-right games and all that. But the defense, to me, your point right there, Alex, they're supposed to, they put themselves as like the #1 defense in the league. They looked awful last week. You're going against a backup running back. Thank God McCaffrey didn't play. But I'm sitting back saying, they give 180 yards rushing. Nobody touched. The time of possession, Aaron Rodgers, it wasn't even on the dang field. So, to me, yeah, that's it. If they don't get it done against this, Will Levis has very little pocket presence. I'm expecting a big 6-sack game by the Jets today. But if they don't do it, there is some concern.
You think both games coming up are get-right games?
Absolutely.
You don't see nothing on that New England.
Including
No,
the
I
Patriots
see
on
zero
Thursday
on
night.
New England.
Beat the Bengals.
I see
Come on,
zero
they're
on
on
the
the road.
New England
Beat the
Patriots.
Hey,
Bengals.
don't you start.
Talk about this later.
Don't start it.
Somebody loves candy, quite like Randy does. And so he's going to give us 3 receivers that are going to have big days based on the matchups today. Feel free to use these for your fantasy or any other purposes you may want. Randy, who's going to play
Well,
big?
let's just start it off, man. And my number 3 is just a lot of talk that's going on in Arrowhead. And I think Jamar Chase is going to be my 3rd wide receiver. I don't know what Steve Spagnuolo, the defense coordinator, is going to really throw at Joe Burrow, but it's going to start and stop with Jamar Chase. The chemistry is there. We just got to see it. Can you pick up where you left off in college? Because last week it's horrible for. So right now, number 3, give me Jamar Chase as my wide receiver. Let's switch it to number 2. All this talk about the New York Jets. I think it's going to be a huge year for the wide receiver, Garrett Wilson, right there. Yes, he's young, but, man, I've been waiting to see the duo and this connection between him and Aaron Rodgers. Yeah, they had a little hiccup last week, Monday night, but this is a get-back-on-track game, like you said, Bruin Rex, against this Tennessee Titans. My number 1 wide receiver, Lions. What are they going to be today, man? I think that Amon-Ra St. Brown going against this Tampa Bay Bucks right now. I don't know what they're going to throw, because if they throw man coverage, Jameson Williams is going up the sideline. So they top bowls. Hey, man, make them go the long distance. Zone defense for me, Amon-Ra St. Brown. That's my number 1 receiver for today.
Between him and Jameson, they become very dangerous, right?
Yes.
And that whole offense is scary dangerous, and we'll see what they have for Tampa today. Again, both teams coming off impressive wins. And Micah Parsons, DeMarcus Lawrence combined for 13 of the 22 pressures. They held Deshaun Watson to 1 completion on 11 attempts when he was under duress. All right, and here we are at the film wall, and Teddy, there's a new man running that defense in Dallas. Now show us how it's different.
Yeah, it's Mike Zimmer, the new defensive coordinator, Greeny. He's the most important off-season signing, in my opinion, for the Dallas Cowboys. He was brought in to stop those West Coast offenses, Green Bay, all right, San Francisco. But in New Orleans, Clint Kubiak is the offensive coordinator, and he has those principles. So what's the difference now in Dallas? Complexity, what they do on the defensive side of the ball. And you know the pass rushers. Rule number 1, find Micah Parsons. He's over here on the offensive right. You see the right guard knows he's over there. We're going to slide right. They get this slide done, and they think they have everything picked up, which is great. Kendricks drops out. The slide is great. Micah Parsons is blocked here, but the matchup on the left side is what we're looking at after Kendricks drops out right there. 2-on-1 on the offensive left. You see a free runner coming to Deshaun Watson right there, and he's running for his life. Kendricks dropped out on the number 2 receiver. Now he's like, oh, there's a quarterback. He comes back and makes the tackle. It's this type of complexity. So Micah Parsons now in the A-gap, but DeMarcus Lawrence down here on the right, 2 of the best rushers in the league. Send him, right? He is dropping 102 total sacks in the coverage, but Zim doesn't care. It's about the matchups up here on the offensive left. The 4-on-3 gets the sack, and now you're in their heads. Okay, so here's the famous double mug, okay? 2 guys in the A-gap, 6, 7, 8 up sometimes. They all drop out. They got it picked up. Micah Parsons is taken care of. He's triple teamed, but what do we have? We have a nice little pocket here. Deshaun, sit there, throw the ball, deliver it, but they're in his head now. It's too late. He feels he doesn't have the time. Now he's got to run for his life. Mike Zimmer plays mind games on quarterbacks, and that's going to be the big difference today.
Yeah, he's played some with you, I would imagine, over the years. So let's
Once
look
or twice.
Yeah, let's look at an offense, and one of those West Coast offenses, maybe the best one in the whole league. Kansas City here. We went back there. Take us a look at what Andy Reid showed us in Week 1.
We had some new additions in Kansas City from last year, and a big notable one, Xavier Worthy, fastest 40 time of all time. And nobody likes speed like Andy Reid. Here he is in Philly with Deshaun Jackson. We all know the cheetah, Tyreek Hill. And listen, a couple weeks ago, I got to go to training camp and visit both with Patrick and Kelsey. Both these guys couldn't stop talking about a different guy. Rashee Rice.
Right.
His development and what he means to this offense, and specifically his ability to catch the ball and get upfield. Here he is working against all-pro linebacker Roquan Smith. Ted, you might know a little jerk route here.
Can't do that.
Absolutely burns him. And this is what I love.
No chance.
4 defenders, he's boxed in. What's he going to do? Puts his head down and splits him for another 10 to 12 yards. Again, same game, working against the Ravens, over the middle in traffic. Strong catch, all-pro safety. Kyle Hamilton, have a seat. Right here he gets strong through traffic again. Here, a defender coming from the outside, watching him secure the ball and get upfield. Again, another 12 yards. And I don't think people know this. I don't know if you guys know this. Look at this. Since week 12 last year, 166 more yards after the catch than any player in football. He's the best in the NFL at this. He's a huge part of this offense. Also, little to note, last year against this Bengals defense went for 127. Big matchup today. I hope they're ready for him.
Now, they're going to need it with Marquise Brown out now for the season. As Shefty told us, they're going to need a lot more from Rice and probably a lot more from the rookie.